Hi, this is Gary Kayye. We're here at DSE 2016, first day of the show, and I am joined by an industry icon, and I truly mean that, Len Dozier, founder of the mount industry, not just Premier Mounts. Len, how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Enjoying myself.
Yeah, well, you're not totally in retirement. You're still working, aren't you?
I am. I actually started in this business at the ripe old age of 24, and that was in 1960-something. I'm 74 now, so it's been a hell of a fun ride, and I'm still doing it because I love it.
And that's unique, that you're still doing it because you love it. So tell me, if you had to name one or two things that sort of changed your life when it comes to mounts, what were they? Was it a technology? Was it a show? Like, could you think back to one or two moments that you were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be big?
Yeah, one big one was when we invented the first universal flat panel mount. We called it the Clevis mount. We still sell it today. And I was actually hanging a mirror from my wife in a bathroom in her home. And they showed me this unique tilting application. And all of a sudden the light just clicked on, and I said, wait a minute, this works. And a mirror is like a flat panel. And
right.
The rest is history for us on that.
So hanging a mirror in a bathroom, and all of a sudden you get this idea, hey, we could tilt them on.
Well, yeah, you can. It was a tilting mirror, and I said to my wife, why would you want a tilting mirror in a bathroom? She says, well, dummy, because the light changes. Did you know that?
And that totally makes sense, right? I mean, but I didn't know that, but I mean, it makes sense. Certainly when a monitor's pointed at you, you're going to get a lot more content, sharper at you, and you're taking advantage of the light output.
I think what she was saying is that the cast light from above would change from what they're doing. That was probably the most unique. And then I've had so many really great.
What about all the, like when you started, I don't know who the first company was it Sony? I think you told me one time, the first OEM, when they said, we want to put a mount in every single box of the projectors. Who was that? And because that had to be a big deal.
Okay, I can't tell you the guy's name, although he was with Sony for a number of years. And Sony was just starting to sell their successful 3-gun series. Remember the early?
Yeah, the big CRTs, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 722 or 600, one of the early series. And they were flying the projectors in because the demand was so high. But they were shipping by ocean the mounts and the carts, and this gentleman said, somebody should build mounts for these projectors so they're here available. And I said, I can do that. And that's the start of it.
Was that Luke Rawls?
No.
That was before Luke.
Before Luke Rawls.
Okay, I was just checking. But yeah, the old VPH series.
Yeah. But to Luke's credit, I think Luke Rawls was one of the most inspirational motivators for Sony in bringing the 720. What was it? 1271.
Yeah, that's right. The original digital projectors.
Yeah. And of course, then they started doing those seminars across the country.
The Power Vision series.
Yeah, and if it's just those are the things that you have fond memories of in this industry.
So you've been to dozens and dozens of trade shows over the years. Can you recall one that was your favorite? Like this one show that you just remember, man, I feel so great about this show and how well it went. Or can you recall an event at a show that just sort of inspired you or anything like that?
Gosh, that's tough because there's been so many industries we've been involved in, you and me together. Probably the most rewarding one was when we finally started unveiling the very first Premier branded or Progressive Marketing branded flat panel mounts, because we were the only ones that was a non-manufacturer.
So that would have been Infocom.
Actually, it was Infocom, and then I remember my old buddy Dale Glumstrode, of Chief in those days, and we're still friends. We were doing CS in the early days, and all we did in those days was projector mounts. Well, I suddenly showed up with plasma mounts. And Dale said, well, we won't be doing those.
Somehow, somebody changed his mind.
Yeah.
Well, but you must be also proud of your daughter. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Because there aren't a whole lot of people that actually convince their kids to go into the industry. But also, what's really cool about it, I have 2 daughters, and so I'm a little sexist, I guess, to be able to convince your daughter to get into an industry not only dominated by men, but also massively dominated. I mean, you're talking about 95% of the industry is men. That must have been an amazingly proud moment for you.
Actually, it goes back even earlier, and my daughter certainly won. But I've always had a strong feeling for women in the AV industry. And way back in the days before I even started progressive marketing, I was working for dealerships like Odetics and Odetics Video Systems. I helped promote women into the sales process, not only in our business, but I can remember an early person worked for me as a purchasing agent, very outgoing. Her name was Kayye Bryan, and I helped her get her job with JVC. And she became a star performer. So those are really proud moments.
And
Tiffany had to come and do a hard sell on me because she was in the retail trade and she was burned out on it. And she says, "What do I do to get into your business?" And I says, "Come on." And so she took the lumps and traveled with me on the road. And you know, a lot of it was just good old belly to belly selling, listening to what people want, and relating that to things that you might be able to do.
Well, you hit on an important point, and that is our industry, as big as it is and as much as it's grown, is still all based on relationships. And I've enjoyed the relationship with you. You're one of the very first people I ever met in the industry. It was still back in the progressive days. You were kind of going through the branding for Premier. I appreciate everything you've done, not only for me, but for the industry overall. And I think I could speak for the entire commercial AV industry when we say a giant thank you for everything you've done to help our industry grow, and also for the education, because you also were one of the pioneers in including product education and education about the industry with the product, not just the product itself. So thank you.
Hey, what goes around comes around.
So yeah, thank you, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of Len over the years. And I think it's not a secret that people know that we've nominated him for one of the awards that's coming up in the industry, and I hope that he gets it. Certainly well deserved. Ultimately, you will, because you invented the mount industry. But Len, thank you again. Thanks for all the creativity as well, and congratulations to you and your daughter. And thanks for watching. Of course, we're going to go around and shoot individual videos on all the individual products that Premier has here at the show. So all you got to do is type in the word Premier in the video search window.